get ready to get shticky. Shticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Corona Crush is creating Jewish couples always. Join the Facebook group. Just search Corona Crush and look out for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. They're 100% free and 100% Jewish. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shticky Situations. I'm your host, Rachel, which obviously you already know because I'm unforgettable. Everyone, please, whatever platform you're listening on right now, go follow, subscribe. If it allows for it, go leave us a 5-star rating and a glowing review. Everyone go like Shticky Situations page on Facebook, follow Shticky Situations Pod on Instagram, follow Shticky Situations Pod on TikTok. Yeah, I know, socials, it's fun. I haven't been really great at the TikTok lately, but who knows? Maybe by the time you're hearing this, I will be back on my game with the TikTok. If you guys already know that I want to be shotgun, so if you are interested in dating any of my single guests, please reach out. You can, there are applications on Corona Crush posts. There are applications somewhere on the social media pages. You can go find it, or you could just send me a DM on Instagram. Remember, Shticky Situations Pod. Or you can send me an email at stickySituationsPod@gmail.com. Same goes for if you want to come on and be a guest and tell me all your dating stories and hang out with me for an hour. Feel free. There's an application for that as well. Or you could just DM me or email me. So, okay, I guess that's it. Let's get to business. Everyone, I have an extra special guest today. Please welcome to the podcast, my friend Natan. Natan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on.
This is really exciting. Natan is really excited to be here. He's been texting me all week about it. So I hope you guys are excited to hear his episode. Okay, so Natan, before we get into it and hear your stories, can you just tell me and my listeners some basic information about yourself? Can you tell me your age, location, relationship status, and religious denomination?
Okay, so I'm 31 from West Hempstead. I'm at the moment single, and my religious is I'm a modern Orthodox. I know that's kind of a vague term these days because people, think modern Orthodox can be many things. So like I keep Shabbos, I keep kosher, I keep the holidays. I go to shul on Shabbos, and like I go mixed swimming. So that's my religious of a modern Orthodox. Sorry if I went on a tangent there.
It's all good. Modern Orthodox, as you guys all know, because a lot of my guests are modern Orthodox, is a huge spectrum and can literally mean anything you want it to mean. So, okay, Natan, just let's get into it. I want to hear your stories. He's been hyping this up for a long time, so like I'm excited to hear it.
Okay, so my first story was I'm working at a networking event. I work for the Chazak organization. I think I can say that. I'm at a booth, and this girl comes over to the table, and like she's blonde, very attractive. So she's like, talking to me about my what Chazak does and all that. She's looking for a job. So I was like, okay,
Wait, can you just tell my listeners, since you did mention the organization name, sorry to interrupt your story, can you just tell me and my listeners what the organization is and what they do?
Yeah, so Chazak is an organization based in Queens. It's a major kiruv organization that helps kids go from public school to yeshiva.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know what kiruv is, it's organizations that help people who are not religious become more religious.
Mm-hmm. So through our after school and Sunday school programs, like there's kids that the ages are 5 to 18, and then they're public school students, so they have no yeshiva background. And through these programs, they have raffles and prizes and learning. Basically, the Moras and Rebbeim will teach them about the upcoming holiday, about Shabbos, about the Aleph Beis, and through the programs, they become religious. So thankfully, over the past since 2017, we've helped transfer over 1,300 students from public school to yeshiva. So that's basically what Chazak does. So there's shout out to
Chazak. Shout out. Okay, sorry. Continue your story.
Sorry. So I was like, basically she says, I was like, yeah, let me get your number. I'll try and help you out with a job. And I was kind of thinking like, I don't know if we really have any jobs available, but like, maybe I'll go out with the girl, So I go back the next day.
So wait, hold on. Yeah. You're giving her like false networking information so you can ask her out?
I thought that we have different positions available, but I wasn't really thinking it for like maybe she could help out the organization. I mean, like maybe in some form, but more of like I think we're around the same age. I was like, I'm gonna obviously ask my supervisor if we have like a job available for her, if she could find out. But on the side, I'll be like, let's see if maybe we could go out, basically, because she told me she was single. She seemed very chilled.
Was
So I was
she
like,
hitting on you?
I don't know. I mean, she kind of has that like a good person, like outgoing personality. So I don't think it was hard to tell. It was really only like a 2-minute encounter,
Okay.
so it was hard to tell. Yeah. So
Okay, so basically
yeah,
Natan was taking advantage of his position.
in some form, yeah. I mean, I was there for 3 hours. Most of the people there were like in their 50s or 60s. So like, they're when you have a 2-minute window, you gotta take advantage of it, right?
Yeah, I hear.
Okay. So the next day, like I text her, like I spoke to my supervisor. I'm sorry, but we don't have any jobs available at the moment. But by the way, would you like to go out? That's kind of how that went. And she was like, yeah, you seem super chilled. You seem like a nice guy. So like, yeah, let's go out. Now we're on to the date. So we're supposed to go out to the Upper East Side at 2 o'clock. We meet to go out. Like we're gonna go out. We're gonna hang out on the Upper East Side, and then I'm gonna drive her back off. She lived in Staten Island, and that was supposed to happen. So it's 2 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I'm here. Are you ready to go? And she's like, no, my stuff is locked up in somebody's apartment. She was in the Upper East Side for Shabbos, so she's like, my stuff is locked up in someone's apartment. I'm just waiting to get my stuff out. But can you just like, I'll be ready soon. Those were her messages. Like, okay, she said she'll be ready soon. So like, I'll wait 20, 30 minutes go by. I call her up, I text, and she's like, I'll be ready soon. Like, I'm just waiting. Sooner or later, it's 5:31. It's 3 hours and 31 minutes later, and I'm still waiting there. And she's like, I'm sorry, I apologize, but like, I'll be ready soon. Like kind of like, don't leave. Like, and I'm like, okay.
So wait, what were you doing this whole
I
time?
was sitting on my phone, kind of. I went out for a walk. I was following the Suns Mavericks game. It was a Kevin Durant's one of his first games on the Suns. Just chilling. I mean, it wasn't football season, so like I wasn't really rushed to get home, or I'm a big football fan. And yeah, I was kind of just chilling, walking around on the Upper East Side. There's no bathroom, so that can be an issue. But yeah, I mean, just kind of chilling. And so it's 5:31. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Like, what do I do? I'm like kind of guy, like I can't just leave a girl because like I'll feel bad about it. So I call my friend, and he's like, bro, you gotta get out of there. I'm like, what do you mean I can't do this to the girl? It's like, you gotta leave now. So like, so I leave, and I'm heading out of there, and I'm like, sorry, like it's not gonna work out tonight. And she's like, what do you mean? We're supposed to go out. It's a whole. What do you mean you can't do this? And I'm like, yeah, it's been 3 hours and 31 minutes. Like we're gonna have to go out another time. So I end up leaving. I had like shalach manos for her because it was like Purim. I ended up just eating the whole thing on my way home.
Wait, you brought her shalach manos for her first
Yeah,
date? For those of you
yeah.
who don't know what shalach manos is or mishalach manot, it's on Purim. There is a mitzvah. One of the mitzvahs of Purim is to give like a small like basket of like 2 different types of foods to friends and I guess first dates.
Mm.
It's actually kind of cute.
But she never showed up. And then later at night, she's at 7:30. She texted me like, "I'm ready to go now. Like, where are you?" I'm like, what do you mean? It's 5.5 hours later, and
Also, you had
that's
driven in from Long Island.
yeah. You're from the Upper East Side. That's kind of why I didn't leave, because like, look, it's a first day. You assume the girl wants to make a good impression. Like after 20, 30 minutes, and like, yeah, I probably should have left after an hour, 2 hours, whatever. But like, I'm already there. And every 20 minutes, she's like, I'll be ready soon. And I'm like, okay, it's a Sunday. These are my plans for the day. Like, what am I going to do at this point? It's like, what kind of girl is just on a first date going to just like keep saying, I'll be ready soon and just never show up?
That's wild.
Yeah. And then the next day, she's like, I know you're very chilled. You see, I'm a very chilled person. Like, let's try and make up another day to go out. And like, we'll give it another chance. Like, I believe that like if you meet somebody, you're meant to meet. Like, it was for a reason, and that's kind of how that went. And I was like, no, I kind of just ended it there. So like my grandpa thinks I'm like the dumbest person in the world for waiting 3 hours and 31 minutes. He thinks nobody would ever do that. And my neighbors and other people think like this guy's a saint. He's the nicest guy. He's got a great heart. So what do you think about that?
I think you're an idiot.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I'm with you.
I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. I get annoyed when a guy, okay, for a first date, I usually try to show up 3 to 5 minutes late. I want the guy to be there before me, but I
Mhm.
think more than 5 minutes late is super rude. Like, if I'm running later, like, obviously, like, New York City, like, stuff happens. Trains are terrible. Um, I don't know. You get held up somewhere, you get delayed. So if that happens, I will text the guy. But I don't think I've ever been more than like 10 or 15 minutes late. And definitely if it's more than 5 minutes, I text. And I don't know. I get really annoyed if the guy is late. Like I
Mhm.
strategically plan the 3 to 5 minutes so he's there. I don't
I
want to
like
be
that.
the one standing there waiting for him. I want him to go, like, if we're going to a bar, either like waiting for me outside or he gets a table and is like, oh, like this is where I'm at, and then I walk up. I see exactly where he is, everything. It's just I feel like it goes smoother. So I get annoyed if a guy is like more than, again, things happen. If he texts me that he's running a little late, that's fine. It happens. But I would get annoyed. Like one time I was on a date, I told this story at the like one of the first episodes of the podcast. Like this guy like was looking for parking and he shows up like a half hour late and I was pissed. By the
Mhm.
time I mean, he had like done a bunch of things to piss me off before the date and I shouldn't have gone on the date. But like by the time he got there, I was like not having it. I'm like, again, stuff happens, but you also have to plan for stuff to happen. So I don't know. I just think it's really disrespectful. I don't like when other people disrespect my time.
Mhm.
And I understand that accidents happen or things get delayed. But like, I think if she was waiting to get into someone's apartment, instead of like making you wait the whole time, she could have been like, okay, I'm just gonna warn you, my hair's not done, I'm not wearing the outfit I planned, my stuff is locked out, but like let's hang out and I'm waiting for my friend to get back. And whenever they do get back, like I'll go get my stuff. Like
Mhm.
I think that's more appropriate. And I get it, like being a girl, like I don't want to show up to a date looking your best. Like hair, makeup, cute outfit. But like stuff happens. And I think I would rather show up to a date looking a mess than like leave him waiting for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I try and show up to every date at least 15 minutes early. I mean, the guy you never want to be late to a date, at least 10 to 15 minutes early. I mean, she could have also like either left her stuff there, got it later the next week. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of improvising that girls can do. Like I've literally gone from like a client office to a date, stopped in Sephora, touched up my makeup, um, spritz some perfume. Like girls can make do. It's not ideal, but girls can make do. Um, Another part of me is also like, no, actually, no, there's no romance in it. Like, it's not like, oh, but like the situation, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Like, I'm gonna wait. Like, no, at that point in time, like, I'm annoyed and I'm not going to. And I'm shocked that you weren't like
I,
annoyed and like done.
yeah, I honestly, I was just under the mindset of like if a girl said she'll be ready soon, like she's gonna come out, and like I kind of just wasn't cognizant of the time, and it
For
kind
three
of just
and a half
went. I'm like,
hours.
what? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, a lot of people think I'm like the craziest person, but like she was blonde and attractive, and I was like, we're gonna go out. Like this is my Sunday. We made up to go out. I'm already here. I drove like an hour or whatever it was to get there. Like she's got to come out at some point, but she never did. Yeah. So that's that story.
Wait, so what happened at the end? Like, you wanted to choose another day. She just ignored you?
No, no, no. She was like, "Let's go out again," and then
Oh, she
I
said
was
that.
just, yeah, I was just like, I basically what I told her was, if we're gonna go out again, you have to come out to West Hempstead and come to me because I'm not going out to you again. And then she was like, "What do you mean? The guy's supposed to pick up the girl?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did that, and I waited 3 hours and 31 minutes." And she was like, "Yeah, I apologize for that. Whatever." She doesn't drive. Basically, it just kind of ended and like people tell me it's definitely better this way. I mean, like my 9-year-old cousin came up to me and was like, "My mom told me if you marry this girl, we're not coming to the wedding." And like my grandfather started a whole revolt. I'm like, "You guys know we didn't even go on a date. I just told you the story."
I can't believe you
So
told your whole.
yeah, that
Well,
was yeah.
I don't know.
I'm a family person where it's like I just open up to people because like I don't really care what people think about me. And like I just tell people and like hear what people have to say, you know. Most people probably wouldn't say this kind of a story because it probably doesn't make me look so good, but like this is what the show is for, interesting dating stories, right?
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't tell my mom that or my grandpa.
No, I didn't tell my parents that at first. So like I came like when I saw them and they were like, "So how did the date go?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it went fine." Like and like how'd you like the show off my house? I was like, "Yeah, she loved it. It was great." But then like weeks later, I kind of like I probably shouldn't have whatever. And then I told them the truth, and they were like, "I can't believe it." But yeah, like it's a date. You never know what's gonna happen. And in this situation, it wasn't really even a date. It was just I got stood up, but it seemed like she really was interested. It was just the timing. I don't know. My grandpa thinks that she was never even there. She was kind of like, you know, calling on the phone with her friends, like trying to make me look like an idiot. But I don't know what really happened.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that would just be weird to do to a stranger.
Yeah, I'm like, did somebody really do that? And they're like, if somebody's crazy, maybe they could. I'm like, why would she do that? Just take all that time.
I guess like yeah, a crazy person would do that, but like I don't think I know anyone who unless it's like someone who I want to like get back at,
Yeah,
like who I'm trying to mess with. But like even then, like who has the time and energy for that?
yeah. But that's kind of how that story goes.
So you never you haven't seen her since. No
No, not.
communication
It
since.
turns out like she wrote me like we were at the same party maybe a month or two ago, but like I left before she got there. But no, we haven't met up or I haven't seen her since. If I see
Probably
her,
for the
she'd probably
best.
come over to me and be like, just talk to me like nothing ever happened, and I'd probably just be a good guy and just talk to her. But like, I think after that kind of a situation happens, you just know like, all right, there's red flags. You don't want to proceed.
Yeah. I mean, Natan also told me who this girl was. Actually, we were at a wedding and he's like, "Do you know this girl?" And then like shoves her Facebook profile in my face. And I was like, I like have seen her around. She's weird. Stay away from her.
Yeah.
So yeah, stay away from her. She's weird.
So that's where my other stories are a little bit better. I mean, they didn't work out because I'm single, but they kind of become a little bit more interesting and crazy. So my next story is
Okay.
my sister got married in November. She actually met a
Mazel
Kazakh
tov.
thing. Yeah, thank you. So I'm at the wedding and I see this girl there, and I'm like, "Who is this girl?" Like I've never. This girl was like an angel. And I'm like, "Who is this girl?" I was like one of my sister's friends who like I hadn't seen in like 15 years, whatever it was. And I'm like walking my grandpa down the aisle, and I'm like, "I'm gonna marry this girl. Like, who is this girl? I've never seen anybody like her. Like, she just looks like so different.
Wait, I have
Like,
a question before you
yeah,
continue. How many girls do you meet or look at and be like, I'm gonna marry that girl?
it probably happened 2 or 3 times. Not as often as you think. I mean, guys think like when the girl's attractive, like oh, maybe you're like okay, I could. Not that like that's the only thing that matters. Obviously, personality and other things matter, but probably 3 times it's happened in my life, but only one with a Jewish person. The other two were not Jews.
Okay.
It was like in a college class, or I was working at a Catholic school. Yeah, it was other things.
Yeah, and how did those work out?
I mean, we never really went out. I mean, because I can't go out with a non-Jew. Maybe we like hung out as friends, and like once I realized, like, wow, these like I went out with this girl Stephanie once. It wasn't like a date; we were friends, and I was like, all right, I can't go out with this girl again because I'm gonna become so attached. Like, I won't be able to go out with anybody else. So like, it doesn't. You just don't go out with non-Jews because then like your mind and everything becomes wrong. So yeah, those two
Yeah,
didn't
it's a
work out.
slippery slope.
Yeah, you just don't mess with it. So back to the story. I see this
Yeah,
girl, I'm
back to
like,
the story.
nobody has ever looked like this girl. Like, she's literally a Jewish Olivia Wilde. Not exaggerating.
Okay.
Yeah. So I see her and like, the wedding's over. We end up like I end up talking to her. We're supposed to go out on like a Saturday night. This was in December. So like I go to pick her up at her door and I'm like about to propose. I see her at the door. I'm like, I'm about to like, will you marry me? But I didn't do that. I was like thinking it. So we went out to a restaurant. We went to Dave and Buster's. It was like a normal, chilled first date. Um, what ended up happening? So I'm like, we went out to like 1 a.m. and I was like, wow, this girl is just like, I really like, I want to marry this girl. I'm like, I wasn't like gonna propose to her. Like, hey, you want to go on a second date? I'm like, let's go to like a really nice restaurant. Let's do this. And then she gave me the message of like, you're a really great guy, but like, it's not gonna work out. Whatever it was. I'm
Oh.
31. She's like 21. So there we are 10 years
Oh.
apart. But I mean, look, it happens. My friend's 36, married a 25-year-old. I hear 10 years isn't the craziest thing if the guy's older, right?
I
Is
would
it?
not marry a guy 10 years older than me.
But is it different with the guy being 10 years older, or it's still not? I mean, you are at different phases of life. So like I hear
I
what you're
don't
saying.
know. I guess like I've always been creeped out by older guys. Like this is like okay, I don't mean to sound bad, but like I don't know. I think even when I think when I was like 24 maybe, I went out with a guy just on one date who was like 30 and I was like, why? Like I got there and I'm like, why am I with him? He looks like an old man and I look like a child. Like also he was weird. But like I don't know. It's it's just something about older guys. They freak me out. And like, listen, I'm not talking. Okay, I'm 29, so like, I'll date guys in their early 30s. Like, if a guy's within like 4 or 5 years of me, 5 years is a little stretching it, but like, I don't know. Like, that's not so creepy. But I don't know. I just get creeped out by guys who are older. I'm happy to date a younger guy, but like, not that much younger. But like, I don't know. Just something about it seems weird to me. It works for some people. I'm not judging anyone who is into that. It's just like my personal thing. Like I've always been creeped out by like older guys. Also, like right now, like my stage of life, if a guy is much older, there's something wrong with him. And I stand by that.
I hear you, but with this girl, it was like I tell people now, like I mean, it wasn't only that she was like Olivia Wilde, but Jewish, like Orthodox. It was like her person, everything went great. I thought, I just think for me, like because I felt like I was on a date with Olivia Wilde, I couldn't like function as like a normal human. Like instead of like, hey, how are you? It was like you how I couldn't function normally. Like I wasn't myself. I was probably quiet and like dismissive because like I felt like I was dating Olivia Wilde. You know?
So you were weird.
Yeah, I was probably weird. I mean, like I maybe it was like 4 years ago. I was like randomly watching a movie and like I saw Olivia Wilde in this movie and I was like, I want to marry a girl that's just like that. And this is exactly who she was. You know, this girl. And like I tell people now, like if you offered me $1 billion or to marry this girl, I promise you 100 out of 100 times I would choose the girl over the $1 billion.
Really? Because I don't think there's
Yeah,
any guy in the world that I would choose over $1 billion.
I'm
Wait,
telling you, I would.
I keep seeing this funny TikTok, and it's like you could either have the man of your dreams or an unlimited credit card with no limit that you never have to pay off. Which one are you choosing? These are MasterCard.
I would choose the girl over the money. I know it
No.
sounds crazy,
I
but
just I don't think I could.
but let's
Like,
say you
okay,
met a guy that was like perfect, everything you're looking for, and you're like, okay, all the money in the world, you wouldn't be able to have that. So, like, what would you choose?
I don't know. It depends how much money.
Let's say it's a
Is that
billion
steep?
dollars, money that you would never have to work a job for the rest of your life.
$1 billion.
Yeah,
No, I would choose the money.
you would choose. Okay, I mean, I
If
guess
I
with a billion
never had to
dollars,
be
you
an
could probably
accountant,
get.
if
Yeah,
I never had to be an accountant ever again, like, listen, I could buy a husband. Like,
that's
I
true.
don't know. I don't know. I'm not some gold digger. Like, I think money is important, but like, I'm not some gold digger. But like, if you give me a life changing amount of money where I could just live like luxuriously and not have to work ever again, that's literally everything I've dreamed of. And I think I want that more than a man.
I hear that. I mean, I guess with $1 billion, you could probably like get yourself the right guy. I mean, what's his name? There's an actor who's 83 who's with a 28-year-old girl. I forgot his name right now.
I don't know.
But yeah. So
I mean, like, I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
want to be a sugar mama,
Al
but like,
Pacino. That's who it was. Al Pacino. He's 83 and he's like either dating or married to like a 20 or 30-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
I'm not 80. I'm 29. No, I don't want to be a sugar mama. I just want to live luxuriously. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. I just can't see how love could be better than like literally everything I've ever dreamed of in terms of money. Like not having to work, not having to care about anything. Like, I don't
I mean,
know.
you just go on, yeah, you're on vacation. You're just living the way you want to live, with no
Yeah.
worry. I mean, that'd be pretty nice.
Although I don't think I would tell, I think I would continue to date, but I wouldn't tell guys that I am a billionaire.
No, you can't tell them that.
I don't
It'll
want
just
them to want
yeah.
me for my
Yeah.
money.
Mhm.
Like, listen, after we get married, no, probably before we get married, because I would make them sign a prenup. Um, but that's when they would find out when they had to sign the prenup.
That's fair. I mean, if you have $1 billion, the guy should have to sign the prenup.
Well, both parties have to sign a prenup no
Yeah,
matter what.
but I mean, if you have $1 billion, I don't know how much money the guy's gonna have, but yeah,
I don't know. I don't have $1 billion and I'm still going to make whoever I marry sign a prenup. Girls got to protect themselves.
for sure.
I'm all for it. Ladies, before you get married, go talk to a lawyer, look at your finances, and sign a prenup, a halachic and a legal prenup. And just protect yourselves and be careful. We want all marriages to stay forever and everyone dies together. But like sometimes that doesn't happen. So ladies need to protect themselves. And guys too. Like some women are crazy. Everyone needs to protect themselves. He's looking at me like I'm insane.
No, I hear that. So my next story
Wait,
is
before
oh,
before you do your next story, should we pause for a second and take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors? Okay, we will be right back. Shticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Are you tired of swiping on dating apps? Tired of guessing whether the cute guy or girl you keep seeing around is Jewish and or single? Then you need to run, not walk, to join Corona Crush. Corona Crush is a Jewish organization working to create Jewish couples always. Corona Crush has over 30 confirmed engagements, over 22,000 members from all over the world, and has set up over 50,000 speed dates. Join the Corona Crush Facebook group and post yourself or have a friend post you and see who reaches out. Fill out the survey to sign up for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. Corona Crush is 100% free and 100% Jewish. Worst case, you end up with some stories of your own. Best case, you find the love of your life. Try it out today. Here on Shticky Situations, we tend to focus on bad dating stories, but sometimes dates do go well and lead to proposals and weddings. Who would have thought? And what do all of those require, you might be asking? Well, the answer is flowers. Who doesn't want flowers from someone they've been seeing? Don't forget, flower petals and bouquets needed for proposals. And that's even before all the flowers that go into weddings. Shticky Situations is sponsored by Primrose Flower Shop. In my opinion, Primrose is the coolest flower shop around and has the best customer service to fulfill all of your floral needs. Primrose offers a range of services from your basic bouquets to subscription services where you can get flowers delivered once a week. They deliver all over the tri-state area, including Manhattan. Primrose does weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and other simchas. I've personally been to a wedding where Primrose did the flowers, and the work they did was beyond gorgeous. Primrose additionally offers in-store proposals, including a romantic setup with candles and music. Primrose is located at 2922 Avenue M in Brooklyn, and the phone number is 929 376 9815. You can also follow Primrose on Instagram at PrimroseNY. So, if you can't get someone out of your head, buy them some flowers from Primrose. They'll either love it or they'll find you really creepy. But regardless, the flowers will be out of this world. Okay, we're back. Okay, sorry for cutting you off before, Natan,
all
but
good.
um you can go ahead. Let's hear your
So
next
my next
story.
story is I'm just curious your opinion on it from like a woman's perspective. So I go out with this girl, our first date. Uh, we actually met on a site called MoDate, another
Oh,
Jewish
you
date.
actually went on a date from that?
Yeah, I mean, have you?
No, it's a
I mean,
pyramid scheme.
usually I get sent like 15 people. It seems like every 2 weeks, and then like, yeah, I mean, I said yes. Some of them I've only been, I think, on one
Must be
date. So
nice to be a boy.
I guess. And
Though I
yeah,
get guys sometimes. I usually just say no because they're all the people I know from my neighborhood. And I'm like, I already know I don't want to date them.
that.
Or they don't want to date me, and that's okay.
So we go out to a restaurant, and she's kind of no, she we're both getting along, but she's kind of like opening up her whole life to me on the first date. Like I smoke weed, I have a therapist, I have major anxiety, kind of just opening everything up. And like the date kind of like it went all right. I dropped her off and everything, and like I think she wanted to go out again. I didn't want to go out. I'm just curious, like your thoughts on like women like on a first date to really open up like that. Is that something that like women do a lot or not really? I mean, she's kind of like opening up interesting things on the first date. Not that like that was the reason why it didn't work out. It didn't work out for whatever reasons it was. It wasn't because she smokes weed or sees a therapist or anything like that. I was just curious to hear like your thoughts on that.
Um, I mean, like, I'm a pretty open person in general. Like, I mean, I'm not going and telling everyone. Well, sometimes I do tell my full life story. It's funny because like at shul or at the park or something, I'll go up to people and start talking, and my friends tell me that I pull a Rachel. They're like, "Yeah, you just pulled a Rachel," where I just tell some random person like some random like not like super personal information, but like semi-personal information just about like stuff going on, whatever. And like people like it because it's very relatable. But on a first date, I don't know. Like, listen, I'm a little crazy, and you guys know that from listening to the podcast. Like, it's not that I'm crazy. It's just that like I am loud. I have opinions. I'm not afraid to speak my mind, and I will be. I tell everyone the honest truth. So, I mean, I think on a first date, that being said, though, on a first date, I try to be on my best behavior. Even though I did have a roommate once who said that I don't have good behavior, I just have bad behavior and worse behavior. But I think I've matured a little bit since then. Um,
So on your
oh,
first date, are you doing more of the talking? Is it the guy? How do you feel that like it normally goes?
it depends on the date. Like for me, I prefer it if it's like an even amount because if a guy lets me, I'll do all the talking. Like if I need to carry a conversation, I will. But I don't like carrying it if I don't have to. Like obviously I love talking about myself, but I I like when there's like banter and interaction and back and forth. That also being said, I've been on dates where literally the guy talked the whole time and I couldn't say anything and I think I came home and cried. And I'm like, I can't do this. Um, so I don't know. I think on a first date, you're trying to make a good first impression. You're trying to put your best foot forward. Like we're not trying to hide things. Like I'm never gonna go on a first date and like lie. And like, but certain things I think maybe keep to yourself at the beginning. Like as you get to know someone and as you open up, obviously things that are more personal come out and you talk about more personal things. Like I'm not about to tell like a guy on a first date. I don't know, I guess, but it also depends on the vibe. Like sometimes I've been on a first date and the guy's like, "Oh, well, my therapist said this." And I was like, "Well, my therapist said that." And it really just depends on the vibe, but I'm not going to go on a first date and just spill all of my like stuff. Like, everyone has their stuff. Like, I'm not going to
You like
say
wait till
everything.
the person like likes you and is already invested in you, and then you kind of open up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's shame in most of the stuff. And like maybe one of the things that she said, like maybe if she said it one, it wouldn't be
Mhm.
that bad. Like, oh yeah, like I don't know. I feel like I've talked about drinking and smoking on dates. It's like, oh, like, what do you do? And like if a guy tells me he smokes a lot of weed, like that's maybe a deal breaker for me. But like I don't know, but if it's like, oh yeah, occasionally, like every once in a while, then it's like, okay, like same, or same with drinking. Like I had my little drink today. I meant to tell you you could have a drink while we record.
Uh,
Oh, if you want. I've had such a like long week, and I was at Trader Joe's today after work, and they have these like fun little Moscato things that are new and kosher. They have, this is a plug for this. They have like watermelon flavored and peach flavored. They're like little bottles, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get one. It's been a long week, so I have a fun drink for recording. But yeah, no, I think spilling all of your personal information on a first date is a lot. Unless that's what the vibe is. Like some people just go on first dates and they both spill their whole guts out and then they end up getting married. Like,
mhm.
but I say you got to go with a vibe.
The vibe was very chill, and guess she felt comfortable with me.
But
And
like,
like
did
I'm
you
not,
tell her personal information?
not really. I mean, like on the date, I wasn't so interested. So honestly, it was her just kind of doing most of the talking, and I guess she just kept talking about everything. I mean, it was definitely an interesting date.
So you didn't do, okay. Wait, I just want to go back to something you just said. You said you weren't that
Yeah,
interested, so you let her do most of the talking.
yeah,
Is that what
yeah.
you tend to do?
That's I I think so. I mean, look, when you go out with a girl, and I don't know if this is from a woman's perspective, but I feel like guys within like 3 to 5 seconds can have the vibe of like this is gonna go well or like this is not gonna go well. I don't know if it's the same for women. Maybe it's just me, maybe Hillary, but like you kind of have an idea based on what the person looks like in the first minute or two. You kind of get a vibe of their personality. Like I went out with a girl, and like we go out and we go to a restaurant, and she's just like literally sitting there, and half the time she's on her phone, not paying attention, has like no personality. I kind of went out because like I got sent her resume, she was pretty, and I was like, okay. And my friends warned me, they're like, I know this girl somehow, and like the personality, like it's not gonna match with you. And like she lived in Muncie, but I went
Oh,
all the way out there. I'm like, she's attractive. I'm gonna give it a shot and see what
I'm
happens.
seeing a trend here.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we went out, but like it was the worst date. Like even though she was pretty, it was like I mean, literally half the time she was on her phone, doesn't have any hobbies, doesn't like anything, and I did all the talking.
Yeah. Those are the worst dates. Like,
Yeah, it was horrible. And I was curious on what you feel about guys going out in the neighborhood of girls because I from heard from different people like you shouldn't go in the same neighborhood. Like I went out to Muncie. I'm like, all right, let's go to a restaurant in Muncie because I don't really know my way around this Muncie, New Jersey neighborhoods. So we go out in Muncie. And she's like, no, 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 no. Like we're not going. We're not going. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, can you please don't take me out in Muncie? So like, okay, we'll go to Noah's Ark in New Jersey. It was like 35 minutes away. I didn't mind. We go back to her house and like I go out to like drop her off. Walk her to her door, and she's like, no, 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 no. Don't walk me to my door. I'm like, what do you mean? Why shouldn't I walk you to the door? I'll feel bad. Like I have to walk you to the door. She's like, no, 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 no. I'm okay. And that's kind of how that went. So what's your view on like going out with a girl going to a restaurant in the same neighborhood? And then the whole door thing was I don't know if she just wasn't interested or like she didn't want to be seen she didn't want her family to see me. I don't know what that was about. But what are your opinions on this?
okay, so before I get my opinions, I just have to say I have never dated anywhere aside from New York City. Like in
Mm-hmm.
my entire dating career, I've lived in New York City.
Oh wow.
So everything's a little bit different. Like I'm from Ohio, but I haven't lived at home since I was in high school. So like I never one time I almost got set up when I went home one time and I'm like, how do I go on a date in Columbus? Like, do I have to tell my parents where I'm going? Like you talk about how like you're going out, so you tell your parents, and I'm like, my parents don't know what I do. Sorry, mom, if you're listening to this. Like my parents, unless I tell them where I'm going or what I'm doing, they have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was in a relationship, I didn't tell my mom until I was like 2 months into a relationship. Like I was like, oh, by the way, mom, I have a boyfriend. Um, oh no, I didn't say it that way. I was like, oh, I've been seeing someone, whatever. Like but she would never know otherwise unless I told
Mhm.
her because like she's in Ohio and I'm in New
Yeah.
York City. So things are like a little bit different. I guess the equivalent is my roommates, but usually when I go on a date, I tell my roommates where I am and they have my location because a girl's got to protect herself. And like
Yeah.
all my friends do. But okay, so here's my take on it. I it's a okay, when I used to live in a different area of the city that was like kind of far away from everything and like there wasn't much to do there. So I didn't like going out there because there was like nowhere to go and like you were really bound to see every single person you know if you were outside. So I really didn't like going out there. So when I lived there and I would go on dates, either a guy would pick me up and like take me somewhere else, um, or like if he had a car, or I would more often than not, if he also lived in the city, we would meet somewhere. I always said like by my office, and I would just meet him after work. This is the pre-COVID days. Even though now I do go to work every day again. But now I live in a different part of the city and there's like a lot more happening. And I would say like there's a lot of bars like 10 blocks away from me, like within 10 blocks away from me. So usually if a guy says like let's get drinks, I'll say like, "Oh, can we go to a bar like between these and these blocks?" And
Mhm.
that's in my neighborhood. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I might see people I know. I probably will. I have seen people I know on dates. It's actually funny. One of the date that I was talking about earlier, where the guy showed up like a half hour late and I was like pissed off. We were sitting outside and I have friends who live like right across the street. And like months later, one of the guys who lives in the apartment was like, "Oh yeah, Rachel, I saw you on a date once. You look pissed." I was like, "Why didn't you come save me?" But yeah, so I prefer that. The restaurants, if we're going out to dinner and it's like a first or second date, I don't really like going out exactly like in my neighborhood because I am bound to know someone. But that being said, whatever kosher restaurant you go to in Manhattan, you're probably going to see someone you know. But if we're going out to dinner, I would probably prefer it not be in my neighborhood. Maybe like a further neighborhood or like I've had guys pick me up from the city and take me out of the city. I don't want that on a first date, but like if I already know him, like I've had guys do that who I had been dating for a little while and like that's fine. Um, I don't know, because again, like my family's not around here. It's just like friends. And it
Like
depends
in
if it
your yeah, but in your opinion though, what is in the girl's mind? Like, where does she want to go on a first date? Like, at least for you, just you want to go to a restaurant. Just like for me, like I like going to a restaurant because like I'll spend the money. Like I'm invested. Like I want to make it work with the person. It's like, but like my brother-in-law, people will tell me like, don't spend money on a first date. Like you'll go to Starbucks, go somewhere, get coffee, and then like you'll see how it goes. But like if I'm going on a first date, like I want to make a good impression. Like so, like what do you think about that?
um so I think I've heard a lot of different opinions from a lot of different girls. So again, I'm just speaking from my own personal experiences. I've been on first dates that were dinner and I get there and I immediately hate the guy and want to not be there. But like dinner, you have at least like a 2 hour commitment. So if I'm gonna go to dinner on a first date, I would agree to it if like it depends on the guy. Like if I kind of know that like I'm gonna have a good time with him, then I'd be okay with dinner. But usually for a first date, I prefer something that's like could be shorter, like drinks or ice cream. I think ice cream is very underutilized by guys for first dates because
Especially in
a
the
lot of
summer.
a lot of times girls don't like to drink or guys don't like to drink. Someone doesn't want to drink and like I think the social norm in today's day and age is to just go to a bar.
Yeah, I
But
don't like.
like so yeah, so like literally I got taken on a date once and the guy like he chose what we were doing. He's like, "Oh, let's meet at this bar. We'll get drinks." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get a soda." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "You took me to a bar." Meanwhile, I'm like, "I want a frozen margarita." But like, no, we both got Trulies. He took two sips of his and I'm like, "This is dumb. We could have gone one block further and gotten froyo." Like I would have been happier with that. So, guys, just we talk about this a lot actually. A bunch of my female guests have said this. Ice cream or froyo. Girls like ice
Yeah.
cream and froyo.
Especially in the summertime, if you can get ice cream. Yeah, who's not gonna want ice cream in the summer?
Also, it's like I prefer things that can be cut short if need be, or you can always go somewhere else. Like if you go for a drink or for froyo or ice cream and you're having a good time, it could be like, oh, do you want to take a walk? Oh, do you want to go
Or
get pizza? Do you want to
mini
like,
golf, board game, whatever the case is.
yeah, like find other places in the area and you can always add on to the date. But I feel like with dinner, you're like stuck. So again, like if I know that I'm gonna have a nice time with the guy and I'm okay, like also like sometimes it makes me uncomfortable if a guy's gonna spend a lot of money on me and I know I don't like him.
Mm.
So
I hear that, but I was one of my friends was on a date with a girl, and he's like, he knew right away it was not going to work out, and she was like ordering whatever, like spending 100, $150, and he's like, I'm stuck here. What do I do?
yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah, you're not just going to walk out.
I mean, if he wants to piss her off, he could say, like, oh, do you want to split the check? Like,
Yeah, but no, but like people will tell me like because I like going to Noidu on the Upper West Side. It's just like a nice place, and they're like, yo, if you're going, the girls are thinking like, yo, what are this guy's red flags? What's he hiding if he wants to go to Noidu on the first day? I'm like, they're usually like 5 minutes away from Noidu. It's like a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I'm like, it seems like a nice first date place to go. Is it not though?
I mean, I don't know. It's just, again, I don't like feeling like I'm stuck somewhere with
Mm.
someone who I don't want to be with.
But like if the girl's saying yes to your resume, your picture, whatever, then you assume that she's interested. I mean, if it's a blind date, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but
You
like,
know?
okay, you keep talking about looks and pictures and everything. You
Yeah.
can't gauge a girl's personality from
No,
that. And
I hear you. I agree with you because that happened to me when I went out to Muncie. I went out there. I was like, the girl's pretty, and her personality was she was on her phone half the time, not saying a word, no hobbies, zero personality.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I've gotten set up a lot of times with guys who are super socially off. I wouldn't know until I meet them. And I'm like,
yeah,
why am I here? I don't want to be here.
yeah.
And then I'm stuck if we go to dinner.
So
And
yeah,
for that, like when I was younger, I was like, okay, fine, whatever. At least I get free dinner. No, I could buy my own dinner. I don't want to like
your time's more valuable
my
than
time's more valuable. I don't know. Like, I mean, I've also heard from guys' perspectives. Like you were saying, it's like 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. Like you're meeting her right after
if
work.
we're not
Like,
gonna get ice cream. I mean, I guess you could go to the bar or whatever the case is, but like it's yeah 7, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. The person's got you both have work the next day. Like you're gonna go out for just till probably 9:30, 10. You know, so like, what are other ideas besides for going to the bar at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night if you're not going to a restaurant?
I don't know. I'm not a
Like I
good
think someone
date
else was
planner.
saying on a previous show, like it, like that they just go to restaurants. They're not going to get coffee at 8 o'clock at night. They're not going to.
No, I don't want coffee at 8 o'clock at
Yeah.
night.
So I guess you guys got to be creative with ideas.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like it's a lot of pressure to put on a guy. And like I did go out with this one guy who planned really we only went on 2 dates, but he planned really creative dates. And like that was like what I told my friends about. I was like, whoa, like it doesn't matter. It like didn't work out. He's a nice guy. It just didn't work out. But like all of my friends were impressed by the fact that he like planned real activities. But
Mm.
also like I don't it was really nice, but it's not like I'm expecting all guys to do that.
What were some of those activities? You got to help the guys out there.
So we did like a little he like made up a game that we like went to a mall and he made up a game that we played, which was actually pretty creative. I forget like all the details of the game, but it's like he set a certain dollar amount and we had to like walk around the mall and pretend and like find items to like pretend to spend the money on, and we had to get up to that certain amount. So it's like fun, and it's like only items you would actually use. So like it's fun. It was fun because like we got to talk and get to know each other like through that. But also at the same time, if we had hated each other, at least we like had the game.
Mm.
And then after that, like it was an hour, like the mall closed and like our date started at whatever time and the mall closed an hour later. So like
Planned it right.
yeah. So like it happened to be like he ended up like walking me back to my apartment. Like we just were walking. He walked me back to my apartment. Like we were talking for a while. So the date didn't end after the hour, but like if we hated each other, it could have.
Yeah.
I like easy outs. Easy outs if I need them.
Easy outs.
I feel like guys like easy outs too.
No, for sure. I mean, for me, I told you the restaurant just it is an easy out in a way. But like I mean, I know people do board games and that seems like, it's interactive, probably don't have to spend a lot of money. So I think it's just doing research and finding different activities because you want to keep the girl interested. If the girl's like at a restaurant and they're just like, this guy's like whatever, and like you got to keep the conversation going. Board games also gives you more to talk about. You talk about competitiveness, who's gonna win. It creates more dynamics than just like you're at dinner with a person who you've never met and don't really know anything about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That all being said, at the end of the day, it's still like, yeah, if a guy's creative, that gets like it definitely gets him points. But just because a guy plans a creative date doesn't mean I'm automatically going to go out with him again. It's all about like the chemistry. The guy could plan the most basic, boring date, and the chemistry could be insane. And like, that's the important part.
For sure. You definitely need everything. You can't just have the looks. You can't just have, it's got to be everything. And it's not so easy, but for everyone, it'll happen at the right time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We hope so. Okay, Natan, do you have any more stories that you would like to share?
But I guess my last story would be when I went out to Brooklyn. I'm curious again to hear your opinion on this. I go out with this girl, and yeah, we were at a restaurant for about 3 hours, and like I'm ready to leave, and she's like, no, we're not leaving. Like I guess she's having a good time. We're literally at this restaurant they called Pescado in Brooklyn for like 3 hours, and she's like, no, I'm not ready to go yet.
This is a
So we
first
ended
date,
up
right?
staying. I think we got dessert. We probably stayed for another 45 minutes, and then I don't know how these like really crazy weird things that happen to me all the time. So we go, like she wants to go out again. I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work out again for different reasons. Eventually it's gonna work out for me. I believe in Hashem that it's gonna work out for me one of these times. Maybe I have to be more open-minded, whatever they get. So have you know anything like this where like the girl is like, no, we're not going yet. Like I need more time with
No.
you. So you've heard some stories that just like only happen to me. I
Yeah,
guess
I mean, I feel like you go out with only crazy girls.
that seems to be my type, but then like it
You're
doesn't work out. So
attracted
I
to the
think I need to
crazy.
change that. I mean, it's not
Maybe
like
you
I'm
just
only saying yes. Like I usually get sent a resume because like I have like 10 shotguns or whatever it is. So it's like, do they just know me as like we're gonna send this guy crazy girls? That mean
maybe. I don't know. I was talking to a friend and like we were saying how we keep only getting these guys who are socially off.
mm-hmm.
And like they kind of seem like it from the profile, whatever. But we say yes to a phone call and then like end it after a phone call. She's like, I think the key is you have to say no to the phone call because if you keep saying yes, they're gonna keep sending you guys like this. So then I
Yes,
started
sure.
saying no. And now I just get no guys, but that's okay.
Well, I met you. You seem like the perfect girl for any guy out there who's
Thank
you
you.
know.
Are you listening to this, gentlemen? All you single eligible males out there
I
coming
met
from a male.
Yeah, I met her at a comedy event. We met at a wedding, and for anybody out there, I'm telling you, this is the girl of your dreams.
I
I don't
am.
know. I don't know. She can't be for me because apparently I only track crazy. But I'm telling you, everybody out there, I can be your number one reference.
Okay. Should I add you to my resume?
Yeah, put me on your resume. And I can say, look, I was on the show. I'm telling you, any guy, you'll be lucky. I mean, to add one more story, I was at a singles event on a Saturday night, and I see this guy I haven't seen since Birthright, which was 13 years ago. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? And we're like at the event. I'm like, yo, so who here do you like? Like, I'll try and make it work for you. He's like looking around the room. He like points out this girl randomly. She's 40. She happens to be 40. He's 35. Like, I go over to her and I'm like, don't worry, I'm not interested in you. I don't know if you're interested in me, whatever it is. But like, this guy, my friend, he's a great guy. She looks at him like, yeah, he looks like he works out. So they've been going out now for, I think this was February, and like he plans on proposing in a few months.
Wow.
So like, I think the key to dating, if you're going to an event, try and bring a friend with you because they can kind of, hook you up.
Okay, so
And
Natan, next time you go to an event, take me with you.
okay, well, I was with you at the Modate event, but I guess I didn't know you then. So next time,
Yeah, not really.
I'm gonna
Also,
be like,
there was nobody there. I knew all the guys.
uh, I'm gonna just be like, look, Rachel, which guy do you want here? And then you'll tell, and that'll be it. I mean, if it was
Yeah.
only that easy, there'd be no shit off crisis. But fortunately, it's not always that easy. It's my first shit off that's gonna happen unless something crazy happens. But from what he tells me, they're both on the same boat that he's gonna propose. Hopefully, I'll be there, maybe wherever it is. And like I'm a shot fan, so I'm always trying to set people up. And I do set people up with normal people, not crazy. At least I try.
You keep the crazies for yourself.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, it's not what I want. And maybe it somehow is what I want. I just don't know it.
Maybe you need like a different type of crazy. Like I think you're going out with like psychotic girls. Like
Yeah, I mean,
this is coming from someone who's like I consider myself a little bit crazy. Like you just need someone who's crazy in a good way.
well, you
Not
must know
like
a lot of people.
I do know a lot of people. We can talk.
All right.
We can talk offline. Listen, we're gonna find each other's spouses. It'll be
That's
great.
it. We'll be at each other's wedding. It's a Shotson wedding.
Yeah.
Could be the only people that set each other up. I don't know if that's ever happened before. Who knows? I mean, my aunts made 13 matches. My mom's made 2. My sister's made 1. I'm making my first one. Hopefully, my sister's story is kind of crazy. But with the match that she made, it was over COVID. Her sister went on this word racers game that I was on. So my sister's friend went on the game. My friend went on the game. And my friend's like, who is this girl? Like, I'm interested in going out with her. This is the guy who's 36 now and she's 25. And like they go out, they actually met in our backyard because they had like no first date place to go to because it was over COVID. So like they met in my backyard. He picked up dinner somewhere. They're both wearing masks. And they've been married now for like a year and a half and they're living in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh wow.
This is over a word racers game. That game where you have to like make as many words with, you get like 8 letters, you got each word, the longer the word, the more points you get. That game made a shit off.
Wow.
Yeah. So you never know where you're gonna meet someone.
It's true. You never know. You really don't. So everyone should keep their faith and hopefully it'll happen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, so Natan, any last stories or anything before we get to our closing segment?
I guess my last, I don't know about stories, but if anybody wants to be set up, reach out to me. I'm a Shotton at first. I'm trying to get married too, but I find it more fun setting people up. And I got yelled at by my mom and my aunt and my relatives, like, if you're not looking out for yourself, nobody's looking. I'm like, look, I'm gonna set other people up, and people have told me if you're looking out for others, Hashem will look out for you. So I believe that. I'm gonna try and help other people get married, and like it'll just naturally happen. This is what Shottons have told me. People who've gotten married told me they were trying to set people up, and then like a month later they got married. So
Listen, I'm always open to being set up if you want some good points with God, good shit off points with God. But if any of Shticky Situation Nation wants to get in contact with Natan, whether to date him or to have him set you up, just send me a DM again at Shticky Situations Pod on Instagram, or you can send me an email, shtykysituationspod@gmail.com, and I'll put you in contact with him.
Thank you.
Okay, so Natan, let's get to our wrap-up segment. So I know we've like talked a lot throughout the episode and given various forms of advice, but can you give me and my listeners one piece of dating advice?
So my piece of dating advice, maybe it is mainly for the guys, and maybe I need to take this advice also, is don't just go out with a girl who's attractive. Because I know people say looks fade, and as a guy, you do want the girl to be attractive, but personality matters, chemistry matters, their hobbies, what they do. You're marrying you're marrying a woman, or if you're a girl, you're marrying a guy. You're not just marrying what they look like. So my advice is make sure that there's other things in common. You don't want to be like me and Muncie on a date with a girl who was advised not to go out, but went out, and you're just sitting there and the girl's on her phone. She's not paying attention. She has no hobbies and literally probably spoke 12 words on the entire date. Don't want that to happen to you. So whether you have to call your references or have to call someone who knows whatever the case is, look at the entire person. And honestly, this is advice I need to take for myself. Like, I can't just marry a girl because she looks like Olivia Wilde or because she's blonde and attractive, and I'm going to end up waiting 3 hours and 31 minutes. So this is advice I need to take for myself. That when you get a resume, don't just only look at the picture. Obviously, look, you want to be attracted to the person. I think meeting at events is much better because you're seeing, let's say, 100 people, and usually you could kind of tell by the crowd which 5 to 10 people are like on point for you. Then you can talk to them, and like if you find them attractive, whatever, you can kind of gauge after 5-10 minutes whether it's going to work out. And if not, you go to the next one instead of going on a date for 2 hours and like then finding out that. So I think go to events, ideally bring a friend or two because they can always help you, as it did with my friend. And thankfully he like thanks me as like I'm getting married because of you. I'm like, bro, I didn't really do that much. I just went over to her, was like, I know this guy, he's a legit guy, look at him. She's like, I'm interested, he's attractive. So I didn't do that much. So like that's literally all it could take. A 2-minute conversation is going to end up leading to a marriage. And I think also age doesn't make that much of a difference. With some people it does. But look, this guy's 35, the girl's 40, and they're getting married.
It's 5 years. 5 years isn't anything. That's not correct. I would go out with a guy who's 5 years older than me. I don't know if I would go out with a guy 5 years younger than me, but
a lot of guys won't go out with a girl 5 years older than him, especially who's 40 years old. But like he looked past, he's like, look, they obviously got along. They both found each other attractive. And if it was only that easy, I could make 100 matches. But like this just happened to work out. So in short, don't only go by looks, go to events and bring friends with you and be like, hey, yo, like I'm interested in, if you're too shy or you don't have the personality to go over, be like, hey, bro, can you set me up with this girl over here? Like, this is the girl I want to go out with. And then that it's sometimes can be that simple. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like I went over to one of my friends and be like, yo, can you hook me up with this girl? And like, she didn't want to go out. And she was a little Olivia Wilde-ish, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. But like, Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you keep shooting.
Okay. I like it. It's a lot of advice all packed in one. Okay. So Natan, last but certainly not least, can you tell me and my listeners your Real Housewives tagline?
Okay, so I put a lot of thought into this. I did maybe.
He did. He texted me like 10 things.
181 hours of research on it because I needed to get the right one for this show. And I ended up coming up with the one I found was just a hopeless romantic looking for my perfect match. Because that kind of describes me. I'm 31 years old. I feel like when I was in my low to mid 20s, I was always like, I need to have money in the bank. I need to have a good job. Like I wasn't at the point of like getting married, but like now I'm ready. As my mom and people say, I treat a girl like a queen. I'm just ready to settle down. My rabbi actually told me, Natan, you got to get married ASAP. So that might sound a little bit desperate. So he's obviously like, look, it has to be the right girl, hushkaffically. It has to be the right person. Obviously, don't just like, you go cross the street and you're like, wow, who's this girl? Like, let's get married. So it has to be the right girl. But yeah, just a hopeless romantic looking for my perfect match. Because that's just what I feel I am. I'm ready to start my life. And again, if anybody like wants to be set up, I'm here for you. I feel like this is like a second job. Like Shotguns look at it as like being a shotgun is the hardest job and all that, but like it's a lot of fun because like and I hear now the shotgun side of like how hard it is to like make a match just to get a first date. It's very difficult. So like you feel happy when and like some of your friends are gonna be very appreciative, like thank you so much, and some of your friends are gonna be like, yo, bro, why are you sending me out with this girl? She's hideous. Like, what is wrong with you? Or like, no. Like I literally get that from guys. Like, are you serious? You're sending me this girl? Like she's hideous. So maybe don't. I mean, those people I don't try and set up that much because I don't feel good about it when like the guys like that. But most people are not like
that. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. No, I mean girls can be picky too, so it's okay.
Yeah.
We want people with open minds and good personalities.
But it seems like a guys tell me it's like the girls are looking for like a supermodel guy who makes like 6 figures and all these things. And like, because I'll say to guys like, yo, why is this girl like 36 or 33, 30, but like, she's like, looks like a model. And they're they're like to me, well, she's looking for the same exact thing. So, but yet I don't understand it. But
I
as
don't
we said,
know.
everybody will find their soulmate at the right time.
Oh man. Well, Natan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been a blast. I'm glad we finally did this.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you for having me on.
Of
And I'm gonna
course.
refer you more guests. I'm gonna send this video out to like thousands of people. So
Yeah, send it
hopefully
out.
get like thousands of subscribers from this. And hopefully I'll have
I'm
some of
looking
my,
forward.
yeah, hopefully you'll have some of my friends on your show. And it should keep growing. This is an amazing show because I feel like, yeah, the
Oh
stories are
man.
crazy and all, but I feel like you also give good practical advice on dating in general. So like, yeah, the stories are funny and we enjoy it, but I really think you help people, with their dating, and which, so you're in a shotgun in that way. You help lead people to get married because people learn what not to do. Like, don't wait 3 hours and 31 minutes. Like, after 20 minutes, like a normal person. And like, because a person looks like Olivia Wilde, don't ask them to marry you, or like, don't like not function on the date because like she's extremely attractive.
Yes, we try to give advice. I I like to think I know what I'm doing, even though I'm single. I like to give everyone else my wisdom and everything that I've learned. And that's why I like having different guests on to hear their perspectives. And they have advice for me too. And like I'll say things, they're like, well, Rachel, what are you saying? Like it's crazy. But no, it's good. I think dating is really hard, especially in the Orthodox world or in the Jewish world in general. And it's nice to just like have other people who are also going through it or have gone through it, and they can share their experiences, give advice, and we can just like talk about it. So,
No, it's true. I mean, you definitely make it easier. And like, look, as Jewish people, we're closed off from probably 99% of the world. I mean, a lot of Jewish people want to go out with non-Jews, whatever the case is. And they're like, no, like I'm a modern Orthodox person. Like I'm going to marry somebody who's modern Orthodox, or might not necessarily modern Orthodox, might be a little bit more religious, a little bit less. So the advice you have definitely helps people a lot. So with gratitude with everybody that listens, thank you.
well, thank you again for coming on. And Shticky Situation Nation, I hope you enjoyed, and you'll catch me next time. Bye, everybody.